Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and we're about halfway through December, so you know what it's already time for. Ravnica Allegiance leaks. Oh, it's also time to learn how to spell allegiance properly, because it's gonna come up a couple times. I'd recommend you all review it. Oh, and finalmente es en español instead of Portuguese for once. Good job, Brasil é número um. There's supposed to be an O in there somewhere. It's a pretend language. I mean, let's be honest. It's just Frenchified Spanish with a bunch of needless crap added in. Why is there a hook on the bottom of a C? There's no reason for that. So anyway, I don't need a translator for this. I speak Spanish. So iluminar el escenario is basically light up the stage. I mean, it's technically illuminate the, I think technically scenario. But obviously, when they go to international cards, they don't always go for direct word-for-word translations. They go for something that would sound like stylistically and culturally correct. Like it would be a reference to an actual saying or an actual thing. So honestly, the English one will probably be light up the stage. Also, the type line is Conjuro, which is conjuring, which I believe is sorcery. It's either that or instant. Probably sorcery. Who cares? Now this is interesting. It has the mechanic listed. Es espectaculo. That means spectacle or show, like show with the connotation of show off. So in English, I think they're probably gonna stick with spectacle. And so this all seems like circus language. I think this is a Rakdos card, because I think they're supposed to be the circus freak people, but I totally don't remember. It could be Gruul, I guess. I mean, those look like kind of big monsters on it. But regardless, it's just kind of classic mono red. Also, clearly this is a promotional, so it says the letter P on the bottom. It's actually the F&M promo, it says right next to it. I should say it's one of the F&M promos, but whatever. And let's just translate this on the fly. How hard could it be in Spanish? Exile the 2 first cards of your library. Well, they actually literally call it Biblioteca. That word has like a heavy book connotation. That's weird. And until the end of your next turn, you can play these cards. Good, that actually was pretty straightforward. And the quote is from Judith, whoever that is. I'm sure that would tell me what guild this is, but I don't know who Judith is. Could be a new character, who knows. Let's see. All of the world is your poistos. As far as I know, that's the plural for post, as in like a pillar. I assume it's supposed to say stage, and that's just some kind of reference I don't understand. Maybe it's like pedestal, and that's their version of staged? I don't know. Although we already know stage is escenario. It's part of the name of the damn card. So basically, this is like a miniature version of a lot of cards we've seen before. Although 3, I mean, would you really call that miniature? This really reminds me of Commune with Lava from I think 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, so good. Especially, I think it was played with Pyromaster's Goggles. Ooh. I think Commune was a Dragon's card, actually, from DTK, so, yeah, I liked it. And this is 2 cards for 3. I mean, that's exactly what you would get, so it's non-scalable, so it's, arguably a worse card, but it comes down to 2 things. One, I'm pretty damn sure Commune with Lava said cast, not play. So this says Hugar, which clearly means play, but I'm not sure about the exact specific wording in Spanish. They could not mean play, but I'm pretty sure it's play. So assuming it's play, that means it would include lands. So if it's 2 cards and 1/3 of your deck is lands, you've got a pretty good shot, but not guaranteed shot, or not even reliable shot of having one of the 2 be a land, where boom, you could play it if you haven't already played a land this turn. That's always the rules. And the second thing to consider is, what does Spectacle do? For one, I mean, is it Miracles, basically, where if you top decked it, I mean, there's no reminder text, because I guess it just didn't fit. And usually on special editions of cards like any kind of premium reprint, I think the Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition, none of them had reminder text. They just had to remove the reminder text from anything remotely special or limited edition, which is a shame, because I'd like to know what it does. So I think it's an alternative casting cost, or it's like a duplicate it. Because, spectacle means it's bigger. Now you're making a spectacle out of it. So you might be able to pay 3 plus 1 and then duplicate the spell, or double it, cast it twice, something like that. But if you literally create another copy of the card on the stack, it actually wouldn't work very well with a lot of Izzet stuff, which is good, because that's broken enough already. I'm already sick of those stupid decks. A lot of them say whenever you cast a spell, or however many spells you've cast this turn. In most cases, by cast, they mean attempt to cast, as in you had to actually cast them, not how many versions of the spell resolved. But would the second copy still trigger things like prowess or pseudo-prowess, which is on most of the cards? I'm not sure. That's almost a 50-50, and I'm too lazy to look up the ruling. But I do think it's duplicate the spell itself, because if it's double all the numbers on the card. That would be clunky. What you would have is like, if you cast this for its kicker cost, then do this, because it would just basically be kicker. Or actually, what would be the closest? Probably Overload, I would say, because it wouldn't be Strive. It wouldn't, it's not exactly the same. There's nothing about adding a target. It just has to be some kind of self-contained specific thing where you just do something really simple. And also, it really doesn't cost much. And also, to make it 4 cards instead of 2 by effectively casting 2 copies of this, it really should only cost 4. I mean, that seems pretty fair to me. So scalable spells that do more the more mana you have and the later the game is, I love them. They're very fair and they tend to end games fairly. They're like, okay, it's not a dead card in my opening hand and it's not a worthlessly weak card late game. It's the perfect balance. I love stuff like that. I've been telling them they need to bring back Strive, any kind of multi-target or some kind of overload for the longest time. It's very fun, very fair, very good for the game. So honestly, it could be something else, but I very much think it's a spell duplicator. That would be pretty wild for Rakdos, because think it would be like some kind of red removal. Well, now you pay, instead of like 3, you pay 5 and you get like 2 targets out of it because you replicate the spell. That would be pretty cool. Now, this also could just be outright Storm. Hey, replicate this for every spell cast before it, or every spell that exists on the stack with it. Although, I think this is sorcery speed, and also, I think they would never do that. It's called the Storm Scale for a reason, guys. So the real focus of this leak is not even the card. I mean, it's actually a pretty darn good card if you look at it. But it's not even a rare, so how good could it be? But like, I'll get back to that. But right now, everybody wants to know, what are the guild's mechanics going to be? That is like the number one question on everybody's minds. So it's a shame this had to have no reminder text, but it is what it is. I mean, honestly, I wish people wouldn't leak any of this, because people leak stuff are dicks, so screw you, whoever did this. That goes double if it's just Wizards of the Coast trying to look woke and, oh, look, blaming on the foreigners. Foreigners always leak stuff. That's actually pretty racist if you think about it. Oh, just throw the Spanish people under the bus. It'll look more real if it's some exotic foreign person. Ooh, they always leak stuff. Oh, things are totally wild and out of control in those Spanish countries. Like, really, Wizards? The funny thing is, they're so like white and clueless over in Seattle. I could totally see them doing this. Like, they're so pretend diverse and pretend like culturally sensitive or whatever. I could totally see them doing that to just stage this whole thing for a bunch of marketing PR hype. But then again, I could totally see somebody else with a pack of these being like, screw you, Wizards, and just taking a cell phone shot. So who knows? Either way, whoever's responsible is a dick. I think we can settle on that. So as far as this actual card, let's just go with my initial feeling that this is okay for 4 total mana. You get to cast it spectacular and you get 2 copies of it. So it says until the end of your next turn, which is what Commune with Lava did. So you gotta wait a little bit because you probably just burned all your mana on this, but the next turn you're gonna top deck a card for your normal draw, and then you're gonna have, if I'm right, 4 cards to choose from to play. So out of all those, I mean, one's gonna be a land. I mean, come on. So maybe you top deck the land, cool, keep it in your hand for the next turn and, kind of ramp it up a little bit, and then play one of the ones that are temporarily free because they're being held in exile. Otherwise, if it's spells, I mean, just think Red Burn. I mean, this is classic Red Burn. It's a little bit of a gamble. I'm not sure everybody would go for it. It is 3, which is reasonable for Burn, but I'm not sure if it would even be a 4 of at that level. A lot of Lightning Strike and Shock and all that. But then again, people are playing like more expensive stuff now because Standard's a little slower with only 5 sets being legal. Like that stupid you take damage or I draw cards thing that everybody hates. I hate that damn card. So I think in like a burn, semi-creature burn, not all spell burn, this would still slot in. And honestly, in an all spell burn, it would probably still slot in. What this card is effectively is basically like a hand refiller, but a very, very restrictive situational one. So it's kind of like Bomat Courier, where it's like, okay, now I ran out of cards. Boom, drop this. Now I've got, 2 or 4 more options, depending upon how you interpret what that mechanic might do. So obviously it's supposed to be a burn card. I mean, if you look at all the references and the illuminate the stage, haha, with fire, look at the artwork. Yeah, it's a burn card. Like they usually throw in stupid little play on words and puns and crap. Burn is just boring, stupid, uncreative. It's kind of like a combo deck. It's like, did you kill them on turn 5? Okay, you're out of cards. Now you have no options. Cool. And then they kill you. And then it's just like control draw, black all-in hand disruption. Just these decks that should never be a thing, but Wizards keeps printing them over and over and over, but everybody's sick of them. It's making people quit the game, driving them away from FNM. Burn is one of them. So if this is a burn enabler and Rakdos is going to be like spell burn with a bunch of hasters and crap, ooh, not going to be fun. But there's nothing stopping you from summoning a bunch of more goblin creature spells with this. So who knows? That could be what it is. I mean, it could be way off base. I doubt it because look at the artwork, but who knows? So the only other cool takeaway is check out the logo and then my crappy, we'll say enhanced version of it. That's a little generous. That is like exactly what I thought it would look like, actually. Like if I had to just kind of BS my way through an almost identical version of the GRN one, I'd put like 5 points and make it look like a hat, just like the last one, or a tiara. Well, in fact, let's throw it up. There actually is almost no difference. The lower points, I guess? Like, that's it. I mean, it's so damn blurry, I'm not convinced that it isn't the same logo, but it was pretty clear that there's like a swooping line on the bottom. So they took out the 2 bottom points and maybe made the middle straighter? I don't know, hard to say, but for the third one, when it's just World War III Bolus Edition, they should just have like either that cracked in half or like a 10-point thing, Guildgate looking symbol that's just like burning. It's just completely on fire. That would be awesome. Don't know how they would do it at that scale and that DPI, but it would be funny. Just smoldering smoke coming out of a cracked Guildgate with like one of the spires broken off. That would be excellent. So anyway, what do you think of the card? What do you think of the leak? What do you think of leakers? What do you think of the Spanish language? I don't care. Leave a comment about anything down below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys next video.